It's just another day of some more madness. More people acting like adults. More people getting pissed off at Donald Trump. More people losing their minds, basically. But guess what? We're here for it. We've seen over the last couple days the Democrat leaders, unfortunately, this applies to, but the histrionics, the theater, the acting, this is AOC's crying at the border in her starch-pressed white dress act all over again. We had Alex Padilla, for those who didn't know, barged into a meeting looking like an absolute jackass. I saw the clips they were putting on CNN and NBC and stuff. It was, let's call it the abridged version, but let me pull up the one from Twitter that I had saved. Yeah, so here, let's play it from the beginning.
Hands up, hands up.
This is him pushing and barging through at a meeting. This dude is an elected official, a senator of one of the most Democrat states, the most democratic state in the country, California. He's one of our senators.
Alex Padilla.
Let's play from the beginning.
Hands up, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary.
Pushing and shoving like an asshole. And at this point, they probably don't even know who he is. He might just be some weirdo, some random guy pushing up trying to get a question asked during this meeting. So yeah, he's going to get manhandled a little bit. Security.
Criminals that you're rotating on your hands off.
Zero sympathy for this guy. Made himself look like an absolute fucking clown. There's zero. This is what happens when people are governed by emotions and empathy and they don't act on logic and truth. The truth is, Joe Biden and his administration allowed, on a low end, 10 to around 15 million illegal immigrants in this country within the period of 4 years. The conspiracy out there, and I definitely buy into this, but this had to have been they pre-planned this because they knew whatever Republican administration was coming in following the Biden administration would have to act in the most polar opposite manner to get these people out. And as fortunate as every case is, doesn't matter. They knew that Trump was running on immigration, that this stuff was coming down the pipe, and they're even more bummed out because they had no idea that 47% of the Hispanic vote would go to Trump, and currently the immigration deportations are massively supported. Numbers of upwards of 50%, 54%. I'll try and get another video. I'll put it down in the description of the polls they're running. But let's go look what's going back on in California.
Waymo taxis are being targeted in the disturbances shaking LA. The vehicles were apparently lured into the riot zone by protesters using phone apps. Some knuckleheads even posed for photos in front of the burning Waymos. Protesters vandalized the vehicles. They broke the windshield.
Now again, you would ask yourself, just as an outsider, just imagine you're an outsider. You're in California, you're in America. Whatever circumstances made you immigrate to this country under asylum or whatever it may have been, pretty extreme. You're also out here rioting. You're burning down cars and protesting of the country you just left. You want to be an American, right? You want to stay here. You want to be a part of our country. Why are you waving an American flag? What make that make sense for me, please? Down in the comments, let me know how that makes sense.
They spray painted anti-ICE slogans, and then they slashed the tires. Then they set all of the vehicles on fire, sending dark black smoke billowing into the air. This is all that remains of 5 of those $300,000 vehicles today, blackened heaps of melted steel and ash. Rioters also used rental e-scooters as weapons, hurling them from an overpass.
This shit is not happening anymore under this administration. Donald Trump has made it clear that this isn't protesting. This is rioting, bullshit chicanery that children do. This is what my 2-year-old daughter does when she throws a tantrum. She throws stuff. She screams. She yells. How are grown adults doing this? Throwing rocks and bricks at cop cars. How is this a protest? This is violence, vandalism, and rioting. This is all their brains can come up with, I guess. They think you, if as much as they're outraged, you should justify that with a level of understanding. It's incongruent. It doesn't make sense.
Onto police vehicles. Overnight, there was more fire and fury in LA as cops fought pitched battles with protesters. Fireworks were tossed at police horses to spook them. The riders quickly regained control of the horses, only for them to be attacked again. One protester threw a gasoline bomb, but fortunately missed and was overpowered by cops. 2,000 National Guardsmen were deployed, the first time since 1965 that the Guard has been called out over the objections of a state governor. But LAPD and California Highway Patrol remain on the front lines. Squad cars were pelted with rocks and fireworks. Rioters were dispersed with rubber bullets and tear gas. This protester used a leaf blower to disperse the acrid clouds. This TV reporter from Australia found herself in the line of fire.
The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
The driver of this van was caught on camera attempting to disperse the crowd by doing dangerous donuts.
Hey, he has a gun! He has a gun!
He drove off in reverse, but was finally cornered by cops. You can see the frustration and anger directed toward those.
So I went on Tuesday to the riots. Well, it wasn't a riot, I gotta be fair. It was a protest. It was I wouldn't call it peaceful, but it definitely was a protest. I didn't see any burning of American flags. I didn't see any rioting. I didn't see any destruction. I was there asking questions. Unfortunately, my dumbass had my AirPod in, so I was able to get my audio, but I couldn't pick up the audio of the people I was talking to. Almost immediately, you can sense these people are hysterical. They have so much emotion that all they can do is scream and yell, point. They call me, obviously, the Rolodex of, pejorative terms, fascist, racist, white supremacist, X, Y, and Z. So it kind of goes against the narrative what this media's or what the overall media is putting out. But from what I saw, it was at that point very not a riot, I would say, but what. People want to dehumanize ICE and all these agencies and Donald Trump and then that's what they want on the right. They want to dehumanize. I say the right, but it's just people advocating for the deportations. They want to dehumanize the immigrants, which I think is unfair on both sides, right? Because these immigrants, like I stated earlier, the circumstances which they had to flee and come here, in some cases from South America all the way up through that treacherous route they have to take, it's pretty extreme. So they want to be here for a reason, right? They're leaving, whether it's due to war, gang violence, poor working conditions, whatever. They're coming here for a reason. So America can't be that racist or white supremacist of a country if they're traveling thousands of miles and paying thousands of dollars to come here. So I think we have to do a better job on both sides of, well, at least from what we have to do a better job of speaking to people. But a big problem I'm seeing, especially when I was there, is that I just wanted to engage with a couple people. And they did. I had a couple, it was like 3 or 4 engage with me, like authentically, like in a genuine conversation. But people were coming up to him, hey, you don't have to talk to this guy. He's a rage baiter, he's a white supremacist, this, and this. And I was just thinking to myself, like, what's the danger? What are they so scared of? And I've been thinking about it, and I can't come up with an answer. I don't know why they're so scared. I was, through the course of my conversations, I was letting them know that ICE is one of the number one agencies that arrests child sex traffickers. Like, isn't that a good thing? Shouldn't we celebrate that? Who? No one in this country, or no one I know, I can't speak generally, but who's really against immigration? Not a lot of people. Who's against illegal immigration? Okay, see, the phrasing, when you get specific, illegal immigration that term is being used throughout the media. Immigrants, immigration, immigrant. They never modify it with illegal, right? So it's easy to get lost in the theatrics of it all when you're watching burning cars and people screaming and bricks and stuff, or bricks being thrown at cop cars and stuff. So it's one of those things that if you're a person who consumes the news or social media, you think of the human aspect of people on both sides of the argument.
ICE raids. The federal immigration building in downtown Los Angeles is literally covered in graffiti. Much of it we can't even show you because of the profanity. Scattered incidents of looting hit downtown LA as authorities braced for further violence.
I'm gonna try and find the polls for the
tonight. Active duty U.S. Marine.
Whoop. There it is.
Numbers here. This is Trump's net approval rating on immigration. It's gone up like a rocket. Compare now versus 8 years ago during Trump's first term. Look at this. In his first term, Trump was way underwater at minus 21 points. But look at this. He's up over 20 points. Now, in the aggregate, he is in positive territory at plus 1 point on his net approval rating. Some other polls even have it a little bit higher than that. There is no issue on which Trump is doing so much better than he was in his first term, more than the issue of immigration. No wonder the Times has written up the way that he is. Trump is begging for a fight on this because he knows what he's doing so far is working with the American electorate.
Where does immigration rank on issues for him? How is he doing compared to others?
Yeah, so I think what's so important is it is his top issue so far, and the reason it is his top issue is because take a look at the individual nuggets in here. Why are people approving of Trump on immigration?
And look at the phrasing of this question. That's pretty extreme, right? Especially the second one. Agents searching your town for those they think are here illegally. 51%. That's massive. Okay? So, a lot of support for this, a lot of support for Trump. Unfortunately, there's not a very optically, there's not a good way of making this appear, palatable for a lot of people. So what comes with that is a lot of emotions, and that's what we're seeing, right? We're seeing it with the violence, the rioting, the protesting, but it's got to be done, unfortunately. Like and subscribe. Thanks, everybody.